The reality is, a lot of us are living very comfortable lives. We're not looking to level up our lives at all, and we're just okay with where we're at. And that's mainly because either one, we're distracted, we don't really know what we want, and we're getting fed so much dopamine from TikTok, Instagram, food, and all these other different sources that are keeping us okay with where we're at. But to change this and to get your life to where you actually want to go and to get to that next level in life, what we actually have to do is dive into the unknown and get into very different scenarios that we might not be used to. Because for myself, back when I was in college, high school, and back in the past, basically, I was just very okay with where I was at. Just for the reasons that I listed before, I was just eating good, I was playing video games, and nothing was really going bad in my life. And then I went to college and started drinking, partying, smoking weed, doing all that degenerate stuff that you do at university. And basically, I felt a very big hole in my heart and in my soul, and knew that deep down I desired something a little bit greater and something much more than what I was doing at the time. So, what I did then was dive into the unknown and dropped out because none of my friends are dropping out, none of my family has dropped out, and this was just something unknown to me. And I didn't really know what was going to happen, but what I did know is that I wanted to get rich and get rich as possible so that way I can actually travel the world and start living life on my own terms. So, right when I dropped out, basically what the plan was, and it's a very bad plan looking back on it, was to just work two 9 to 5s and funnel both of those incomes into day trading, crypto, or something that I could buy to and invest into, maybe just get lucky and get rich as possible. And of course, that did not work out well. I had no day trading skills. I had no idea what coins to buy with crypto, and it just did not turn out well. And every dollar I earned was pretty much burned and wasted. And it was not a very good time because, at the time I was working two 9 to 5s, one at racetrack where I was working for this Indian guy stocking shelves, cleaning the bathroom, and not really having a good time because I was waking up at like 4 a.m. to start work at 5 a.m. And then from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. I would just have to listen to this Indian guy tell me what to do. And the people that came in and out of the gas station weren't really people you want to be surrounded by. They were either homeless buying cigarettes or not really people you want to look up to. And then after I got off at like 1 p.m., I'd go to the gym, which was okay. It was a good thing to do. But then from 2 p.m. to around 8 to 10 p.m., I would go work at Red Lobster as a server. Now, both of these jobs were kind of stepping stones to teach me what I didn't want to do, which was slave away and work for someone else. And I knew that's what I didn't want to do after I worked both of those two jobs. So it's a blessing I did go through that experience. But that's when I knew I had to make a change and I had to dive into the unknown and try to find something more. Because at the time, the plan wasn't working out. I wasn't making that much money, and I knew I had to find a better way so that way I could fulfill my dream of living life on my own terms. So basically, I was just watching YouTube one night and basically saw some people living it up in Thailand, and I was like, man, how are they living up in Thailand? How are they actually making money? Because I know they're not working at Red Lobster or Racetrack. I know they got to be doing something else. So that's when I did a little bit more research and found out about remote sales and dived into that. And again, I dived into the unknown again because I had no idea what remote sales was. For all I knew, I could be selling TV remotes like Samsung or anything like that. But that wasn't the case. What remote sales basically was after I learned about it is basically there's these big influencers out there selling courses, mentorships, communities, and they're selling them for 5K, 6K, or even a little bit more. Now, what I learned with remote sales is basically like there's appointment setters, closers, all closing deals for this influencer and getting commission and paid off that. So apparently that's what these people were doing in Thailand, and I knew I had to do that for myself because they were already living the life of my dreams, and I just had to acquire the knowledge that they have and implement that knowledge into my own life so that way I can do the exact same thing. So basically after quitting both of my 9 to 5s and I did still have this like contracting business I was working on with my friend, we would install gutter guards, but yeah, I basically went into 7K debt. I invested in a truck for that business and I crashed it. Not crashed it, I totaled it and sold it for around 2,000 and paid off a little bit of the debt for the truck. And then I was pretty much flat broke. So then I met my good friend John. He's like, well, I didn't meet him, but I was already good friends with this guy named John. He's like this ex drug dealer. And he already knew about my dream and my goal to go to Thailand to figure out how to make it work with remote sales. So we had a really good conversation over coffee, and basically he loaned me 1,500 for a year with no interest, which was really G of him because I did need that at the time because I had no other way to really make money. So I mean that was a really good blessing and a really good thing that he did because I mean I couldn't be where I am today without him. So basically I got that loan, came to Bangkok, Thailand with 1,500 to my name. And that's another example of me diving to the unknown because I had no clue what would happen out here in Bangkok, Thailand. And it turns out it didn't turn out well the first month or two because with that 1,500, it did last me a few weeks, but I met this girl, I had a pretty nice apartment, and I spent a lot on food. So that 1,500 went down really fast. And looking back on it, I could have spent money a little bit better and I could have been a little bit smarter. But again, when you're diving to the unknown, you have no idea what's going to happen. No one's ever done it before. You don't know how to prepare. So I didn't lose when I went flat broke in Bangkok, Thailand. I learned a very valuable lesson. I learned how to spend my money a lot more wiser. And I was able to learn an even more valuable lesson, which is to switch my mindset. Because when I was going broke in Bangkok, I mean, basically at the time I still had my NPC mindset, which was just a very negative mindset. Like, how am I going to pay the bills? Where's my next paycheck coming from? Because I did have my first offer as an appointment setter, but I literally made $0 the first 2 months. So again, when I hit rock bottom and when I was flat broke here in Bangkok, Thailand, I did make the switch and I learned the lesson of switching my mindset from being negative and wondering where my next my next paycheck is going to come in to actually figuring out how I'm going to make some money. So that's when I started networking in Bangkok, Thailand, met my good friend Tanner, and he was able to position myself on a very good offer with a day trading offer and was able to start making some pretty good money with remote sales being an appointment setter. And then I started making around 2 to 4K a month and I could start paying the bills. I could start paying for food again. I could pay for my girlfriend's meals and everything was looking good again. But then I was stuck at that 2 to 4K a month mark and I got a little bit comfortable and I wasn't really at where I wanted to be at and where I needed to be at in order to live the life of my dreams and live on my own terms, because basically I was just working a glorified 9 to 5 in Bangkok, Thailand. So my life did change and I was in a way better place, like location wise, but I still wasn't where I wanted to be. So what I had to do again was dive into the unknown. And I was pretty much forced to anyways, because at the time I didn't have enough money to invest into the 15-month visa, which I have now, which would have allowed me to stay in Bangkok and not have to worry about leaving. But I had two choices. One of them could have been going back to the USA because I couldn't afford the 15-month visa. Or second was to go to Cebu City in the Philippines to just reset my visa, stay there for a month or two, and just lock in on remote sales. So, of course, I went to Cebu City in the Philippines, and what I kind of did there was I just decided to lock in and hone in on my craft with remote sales in order to actually increase my income. Because like I said earlier, at the time, my income was only 2 to 4K a month, and I could pay the bills. I paid back the debt for the guy I owed that gave me the loan to actually move out to Bangkok, and I just wasn't where I wanted to be in terms of my monthly income. So in Cebu City in the Philippines, I dived into the unknown again. I had no idea what would happen in the Philippines. I had no idea where I would turn out with remote sales, but I knew if I just locked in on my skills and just focused on my craft, eventually and inevitably, I would level up my income over time. So that's what I did. I invested in mastermind courses, mentorships, leveled up my skills to where they needed to be, and now I was ready to actually transition into being a closer. And guess what happened? An opportunity literally fell into my lap and I was able to transition into full-time closing. Now, I did kind of finesse my way into that position because the CSO, he was asking me what my closer experience was. And of course, I've never had any. I was just a setter. But I basically had this white lie. I was selling my clothes for a few months. I closed a few deals. And I mean, that wasn't really a lie because I did close a few deals as an appointment setter. So I did have the knowledge and ability to close deals. I just haven't had the legitimate experience and able to do so. So after I finessed my way onto that first closing offer, basically I had two options. I was either going to crush it and start closing deals immediately to actually prove myself on that offer, or two, I would fall off and get kicked out of the offer because they would realize that I've never closed any deals like being a full-time closer. So obviously I closed a few deals. I solidified my position on that offer, and I was able to take my income from 2 to 4K a month to 8 to 10K, and was able to finally go back to Bangkok. And I went back a lot earlier than anticipated because I had the funds in order to set up my dream life in Bangkok. So I went back to Bangkok and I invested my 15-month visa. I invested my 12-month apartment, 12-month gym membership, and got everything sorted out. So even if I went flat broke again, I would still have the gym, I would have my apartment, the 15-month visa, and I would have everything sorted so that way I could get out of any situation I got myself into. So now I was making 10 to 12K a month in Bangkok, Thailand. I was very comfortable and living a lot better life than I was living back when I first came to Bangkok, of course. And I mean, it's a big difference from making 2 to 4K a month to 10 to 12K a month, but I still wasn't where I wanted to be and still wasn't at that point where I could live life truly on my own terms. So what happened next, and another example I can give you about me diving to the unknown, is that a lot of my friends were planning to go to Dubai to just go visit and stay there for a few weeks. Now at the time I was paying back debt, so I didn't have that much saved up, and I still was only making 10 to 12K a month. But I knew that if I dived into the unknown again and replicated the entire process that I've already done 2 to 3 times at this point, that it would work out, and maybe if it didn't, I would still learn a very valuable lesson. So I went to Dubai with them, and basically at that point, I was able to scale my income from 10 to 12K a month to 18 to 20K a month. Now, it wasn't just from the location being switched from Bangkok to Dubai, but it was just being around the people that were already making 80K a month, 150K a month, and just being around those people that motivated me to get to that next step. Because in Bangkok, I was making 10 to 12K a month and living life very luxuriously and was pretty much balling out of control. So I was getting a little bit too comfortable, and I didn't really have any motivation to break that limit of 12K a month to get to that 20K a month mark. So going to Dubai, it just positioned myself in a place and in a network of people already making levels more income than me, and motivated me to actually increase my income for myself. So the reason I'm telling you guys that story and why you need to actually dive into the unknown is maybe you're living not on your own terms right now. Maybe you're living in a very bad situation. Maybe you're in the 9 to 5, you're going to university, and you just aren't really where you want to be. What you need to do is dive into the unknown, find what you really want in life, and reverse engineer that to see what steps and what calculated risk you need to take in order to maybe give you that chance to get to your dream life. Because if you don't even take any risk at all, if you don't dive into the unknown and you don't try to get to where you want to go, it's 100% certain you'll never get there. So when you take no risk at all and you never move the needle forward to where you actually want to go, you're guaranteed to stay in the same exact spot. So you need to start diving into the unknown, start going towards where you want to go, no matter if no one else is doing it. If none of your friends, family are doing what you actually want to do, don't worry about it. Dive into the unknown, even if you have to do it alone. And then you either win or you learn a lesson so that next time when you're trying again, you'll know how to better navigate the process to actually get you to where you want to go. So if you guys do want to do something similar to what I'm doing, basically just traveling the world, going to Bangkok, Dubai, the Philippines, Bali now, basically it's all possible through remote sales. And it took me a lot longer than I thought just because I didn't have the mentor at first and I just kind of did it on my own. And that's why I went through all those struggles, all those hardships, because I didn't really have someone holding my hand through the entire process. So if you do want to make $10,000 a month anywhere in the world and remote sales is something you're kind of interested in, you can book a call down below, hop on a call with me, and I can see if you'd be a good fit, because I've had some people that I just knew they wouldn't really be quite ready for remote sales yet, so I did have to turn them away. But maybe you are, and then we can kind of walk you through how to actually start making $10,000 a month anywhere in the world, so that way you can start living on your own terms. Because I'm 100% certain if you're in university or in a 9 to 5, you're listening to someone else tell you what to do and where to be. Now, if you're a man and you're someone like me, you can't really take that. because as men, being free is the number one priority. Because if we're trapped, if we're stuck paycheck to paycheck, listening to someone else that we don't really want to listen to, like they're not really inspiring, like at the gas station, I was working for this very fat Indian dude, and I hate him telling me what to do because I was more in shape and I had bigger dreams than him. So if that is something you do want to do, just book a call down below. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope you guys get what I'm trying to tell you, because if you take no risk at all, you're literally guaranteed to stay in the same exact spot that you're in now. So if you do want to get out of the spot you're in now, you need to find out what you really want and find out how to get there. And that's literally everything to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.